I think people start joining. So good afternoon and welcome everyone. So today's webinar is, as you already know, it's going to be about technology in CA's practice. So it's very, very important for all of us, especially given the post-pandemic situation. So I hope, first of all, hopefully, I hope everyone is healthy and safe. Their family is healthy and safe. That is the most important for all of us right now. So among all this negativity, I hope we are all keeping a positive attitude and, marching day by day, one day at a time. And I hope even this webinar is actually a distraction to all of us from the negativity that is going on. So hopefully, I hope you will enjoy as well as gain a lot of insights through this webinar. So to start off first, I would like to welcome our guest of honor today, the Secretary of Bellary branch of ICAI, Mr. C.A.K. Honor Swami, sir. So yes, welcome. Thank you so much for being a part of this. So Honor Swami, sir, has been practicing as a chartered accountant since 2013. He also has industrial finance knowledge with him. So he's a partner in Messrs. Honor Swami and Co. He is in the managing committee of the Bellary branch of ICAI in 2016-17 as well as 2021 and 22. So he was just the immediate past chairman of the branch actually, and right now, presently, he's the secretary. So thank you so much for joining us, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah. And next, of course, the speaker, C.A. Narasimhan Elangovan, sir. So thank you so much. So if I have to introduce, how would I start? So he's a CA, he's a CS, he's a CISA, he has done CISA as well as LLB. And he's a practicing chartered accountant and is a partner in KEN and Co. in Bangalore. And also is a senior advisor to Crow Advisory Services India. So his areas of practice include data analytics, risk-based audit, internal audits, information system assurance, SOX compliance, and SOC audits. He is a faculty in DISA and CISA courses on blockchain technology. He has also authored more than 4 books for ICAI, KSCA on technology and CA practice. So he's also, been a speaker in various national international conferences for ICAI and for ISACA, CII, and FICII. And he has spoken in international conferences throughout the world: Dubai, Malaysia, Bangkok, California, and Singapore even. He's also identified as one of the influential consulting leaders of 2020, which is an annual recognition for torchbearers in consulting sphere given by the CEO Insights magazine. So I'm really, really happy to have you here, sir. So thank you so much. Yeah. So I think we can go on with the topic, sir. It's very, very important for us. And I hope we can keep the positive energy and keep marching forward, sir, in our professions. Thank you. Please go on, sir.
Thank you, Ramya, for the quick introduction.
I'm sorry, sir, just a minute. If there's anything that the secretary wants to share with us.
It will be better. I was just about to say it's better if I have the opening remarks from.
I'm sorry, sir. Yeah.
Yes, it's okay. 2 minutes. So, good afternoon to all the members and viewers. Let me begin by welcoming all of you to today's live webinar and thanking CA Ramya Madam for the kind introduction. So, I'm very pleased to have been invited to speak here today on what I know is a very special day. I thank organizers for the topic chosen for today's webinar is very relevant and important one with the eminent speaker of Narasimhan sir. The role of CA is evolving continuously to accept newer responsibilities in a dynamic global environment. The future of CA profession depends on being flexible and open to innovation. The world is focused on automation, and therefore professional accountants need to combine digital skills with emotional intelligence. Technology is a transformational and it is impacting the practice of accounting and assurance, proving to be a game changer for the profession. As a conclusion, The digital era in accountancy should be taken as an opportunity by newly qualified chartered accountants, where they are much aware and comfortable with the entire management of digital environment than the traditional firms operating in the market. I hope today's webinar will be more useful for our members, especially for younger members of the updating themselves. I would like to thank CA Ramya, convener and team Optotax for inviting me as a guest of honor to this webinar and for giving me an opportunity to share my views with you. Thank you, madam. Stay home, stay safe, and stay healthy.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
Yes.
Sir, you're on mute, I think.
Yes, yes. Okay.
Thank you. I hope you are able to hear me.
Yes. Yeah, it's good, sir.
Okay. Please get started. I have a small PPT to share. Okay. Could you confirm if my screen and voice, everything is clear?
Yes, everything's clear.
Yeah. Maybe we can all, both of you can just mute. I'm able to hear my own voice echoing. This happens with technology. Initially when you hear your own voice in the historical era, it was called as Antaratma speaking. Whereas today, you will have to say that, boss, you've forgotten to keep your mic on mute. On that jovial note, we know a lot of negativity is there in and around us, and I'm not going to touch that. It is only increasing by the day. Let us see some sort of a positivity. Let us see where our profession is heading into and what exactly is the practice of a chartered accountant in the digital era. Okay, and of course, I'm going to give you some bit of tips where the profession is heading into, what value addition is going to be there, and where we can actually be, a game changer. And let me remind you at this point in time, my dear friends, the world is actually evolving at a very, very, very rapid pace, which we had never ever imagined. And that's the reality, and that's the truth. Considering this is the situation, I think one of the professions which perhaps may not have gone very ahead in terms of technological adoption, in my opinion, is our profession. While I am saying that COVID has become a very, very good opportunity for us to upgrade and upskill ourselves, we still have a long battle ahead. With that on the background, quick brief about me was already given, but yes, I'm a practicing chartered accountant partner Ken & Co, and this is my areas of specialization. And you can notice, I'm mostly on the tech space, and I keep writing, authoring articles, blogs, articles for the institute, including the latest material for the institute. One of the modules, module 6. Before I move on, a general disclaimer: the views are my personal. It's nothing to do with my organization Ken & Co, and this is a generic sort of a knowledge oriented, and if I'm speaking about any of these apps, it is merely for knowledge purposes. So what am I going to be speaking today? I'm going to stick on to 3 major things. What is the post-COVID reality? What are we facing? Second, what are my productivity tools which I have? Rather than productivity tools, I'll probably call it as a productivity approach. Okay, how do I enhance productivity within our own offices? Because tools are multiple. Okay, the question is, how do I use it? Where do I use it? That's the focus. I'm more focusing on the approach. And third is, how do I slowly become future ready? Okay, how do I get started with this? Let me also remind you, many of the firms or many of the professionals, all of them are having some or the other challenges when it comes to, today's requirements. The client expectation is more. The fee obviously is much lesser because of various challenges. The regulatory expectation is increasing like never before. Correct. And unfortunately, in one of the webinars I was just speaking, one of the participants said, "Sir, as a statutory auditor, the management has expected me to identify all the frauds in that organization." See, we all know that the humble sentence we kept on reading during our articleship or during our CA final or CA inter: auditor is a watchdog, not a bloodhound. correct? We are not going and attacking per se. But today the perspective is slowly changing. And the moment one small mischief is being identified, immediately the question is, where is the auditors? What did the auditors do? So therefore, the dependency on us as a profession is only increasing by the day. And therefore, it is very critical for us to manage this as well. So with this as the context, let's quickly head into where the world is heading. This one image, if you ask me, my friends, tells everything. Humans are hooked, machines are learning. And that's the reality today. Machines are learning thanks to the power of ML, machine learning. They are learning and they're becoming better and better. The first time you use a voice assist and 2 days back when you use the voice assist, you know that the way in which it works is totally different. And that's how it is. That's how it's working. The reason is because machines are progressing. But the challenge, unfortunately, are humans hooked? That's the question mark. And this is a shocking report. World Economic Forum every year comes up with, or every alternate year, I think, comes up with this wonderful report called Future of Jobs Report 2020. And this report had very, very scary statistics. It said, on the right-hand side, whatever you see, are the top 20 jobs which are losing or having a lower amount of demand. And the first among that is a data entry clerk. A data entry clerk could be a simple accountant. It could be a person who is just keying in by looking into scanned forms, whatever it may be. But they are losing their significance. The third is accounting bookkeepers and payroll clerks. And fourth is the shocker, accountants and auditors. And this was the global statistics expected by the next 5 years. And they have also given India statistics, but still these 3 or 4 professions which I made a mention is within the top 10. If you think I'm scaring you, the answer is yes, I am scaring you, because the fear is the best way in which we will actually get aligned. But keep that aside. Are we really going to be relevant tomorrow? That's the big question which we need to ask. And in fact, the best blessings which today somebody can give you is, may you be relevant tomorrow, because we don't know the significance of each profession and each person is reducing by the day. And not just this. This was another interesting analysis by the World Economic Forum and Accenture, which said impact of industry technology by industry segment, and you'll find the most impact is on the audit and technology, or audit and accounting domain, followed by technology and media consulting. So you can realize that, audit and accounting, how is having one impact. I'll just give you one example of an impact, okay? Most of us, compare yourself 5 years before, I'm sure you would have read a newspaper at least 3 to 5 times a week. 3 to 5 times a week. Today, are we reading newspapers? The answer is no. We are getting already all updates through apps. The news comes through social media much more faster, and therefore all the news agencies today are now moving into a digital form of news, which is going to be interactive, which is going to earn some ad revenues and whatnot. Therefore, there's one such example of how a disruption could change. And do not be surprised that the domain of audit and accounting is also undergoing a change. And what are these exponential technologies which have changed the world? These are simple cases. These are resources which are faster, cheaper, and the computing power is just madness. Starting from sensors, networks, AI, robotic, 3D printing. You can print a footwear. You heard me right. You can print a footwear. Okay, you can print a footwear, you can print the inner sole. All that it requires is some sort of a methodology, a measurement, and some bit of a hardware device. Today it is possible. Virtual reality and augmented reality, synthetic biology, blockchain, my goodness. All of this has revolutionized. And all of this, let me tell you, is reinventing every business model. Zomato is a classical example. I'm sure most of you were, when you're hungry, Zomato and Swiggy. When you're hungry, you just, at this particular point in time, it makes sense for you to order through that. Zomato is a merely food aggregator. He doesn't own any of the restaurants. Likewise, your Ola or Uber does not own any of the cabs, but they are merely aggregators. That means what? Using the fundamentals, technology has become a layer through which the entire innovation is actually being. That means tomorrow, can we have the traditional domains and one layer on top of it, which is going to kill the market? Perhaps yes, we do not know. There's a beautiful document which I got it, and this is credits to EY White Paper 2018. It says what is called as the accounting plus skills framework. As an accountant, what is it that you need to have today? A very, very, very relevant. And each of this is categorized into 5 buckets. Analytical skills, he or she should have the understanding of ERP systems, some bit of programming logic. Please note, it doesn't mean the programming language. You need to understand the programming logic. And that is the very purpose we had all these flowcharts and decision tree tables way back in our syllabus. We need to have the ability to visualize the data. Very, very important. We need to see how well can I do analytic modeling. Can I extract, transform, and load? Can I do text mining? A simple example of text mining is assuming you're doing some investigation, and this is between a vendor and a customer for some sort of a override of controls or some sort of kickback arrangements. You just go through their mailboxes, search all the words, and based on the words which they have used, remove all the conjunctions. Based on the adjectives they've used, you can identify what is the tone at which these both people have interacted, whether it's a suspicious, whether it calls for further investigation and scrutiny. Tools are available today. Text mining, correct? Audit softwares, CAT tools, correct? And the legacy systems, of course, that is kept towards the end for a simple reason. You still have to understand the fundamental legacy systems. Let's look at the second bucket, personnel skills. There's more on the HR skills, which as professionals, we need to compulsory develop. It's agility, resilience, client connection and communication, approachability, presentable, political correctness, and leadership. So this comes under your personal skills. Your mindset, you need to be local but think global. That's a very, very important statement. And you need to have a mindset to question and challenge everything. Can I do it differently? And that's where the disruption brings in. And not to forget the fundamental domain of accounting and audit, which I'm not going to spend time. And the last is understanding disruption, understanding disruptive technologies. RPA, intelligent process automation, Watson, deep learning methodologies, cognitive, blockchain, and the list can go on. So therefore, my dear friends, this is where we have to head into. Okay, I can keep on going on talking hours together on this particular side, but I've just given you a particular direction where you need to be getting into. So what is the clear message for us? The clear message is automation and affordable technology adoption is the need of the hour. And I use the word very clearly, affordable technology. Why? There are many technology solutions which are charging even as high as about 2 to 3 lakh rupees per month, or sometimes even per year. There are so many other technologies which are available at just the disposal of 200 to 500 rupees per month per user. So therefore, the question and the focus now should be, my dear friends, can I bring in automation? That is the only way I will be relevant in the digital era. And we need to slowly up the game. I cannot directly go to audit of blockchain when my fundamental systems are not digitized. You will be surprised that, more than the private sector, the government sector is slightly ahead when it comes to adoption of blockchain. But they've all had a challenge. Most of the records, of course, now it's all digitized. Historical records were all in paper form. So how on earth am I going to ensure that these are going to get digitized, and after that I implement the technology? So the roadmap is fairly long. And this is where, my dear friends, we still have time. But if we do not do it now, we will be still left out. So how do I enhance productivity? That's the key message. So the first part was on, the post-COVID scenario. The second part of it is, how do I enhance productivity? So what do we typically do in office? A typical CA setup. You can use it depending upon the industry in which you work also, but generally you have an accounting function. Then of course you have an auditing function. Some of them are exclusive audit firms, some of them are exclusive accounting firms, some of them are a combination. Then you do a lot of compliance, GST, income tax, TDS, this, that, and a bunch of advisory, a bunch of advisory services. And to do all of this, you require some basic office management requirements. Currently it could be a simple Excel sheet, writing on a sheet of paper, etc., but this we require. So this is exactly what we do in our office. Now, can we go to each of these buckets and see how well or how much in depth can we automate it? Let's first pick up accounting automation. I'm not sure how many of them have thought about automating your accounting. Sir, automating accounting, what are you trying to say? There are so many things which we can do. First and foremost is a very, very basic thing. We have 25 different clients with us. Can I bring one standard chart of accounts for all the 25 clients? I know that the creditor names cannot change or cannot be the same. I know the debtor names cannot be the same. I know the partner's name cannot be the same. Okay. Can I have at least 60 to 70%, which is standard, at least the expenses and income? So what does this do? When I have a standard chart of accounts, irrespective of any client, when I have to build in any sort of an Excel macro automation, etc., with a click of a button, my dear friends, I will be able to give you whatever is the required reports. And the best of all is the final balance sheet, P&L, MIS reports are very, very standardized. Can I use macros? Excel has got a lot of spreadsheets, a lot of features which you can actually automate. And to do a macro is not a very complicated job at all. You just have to do some bit of trial and error, you can get it. And assuming you're finding it difficult to write the VB scripts, all that you can do, my dear friend, is go click and record the macro and you'll be able to do it. Can I use Excel files, Word files for combining multiple sheets into one, formatting the data? Excel has got a Power Query. I'm not sure how many of them are using it. We're downloading GST 2B for 2A for every month, and then we have to sit and consolidate. Why can't we use Power Query? OCR technology, a technology which enables extraction of data from any document which is basically scanned within the ERP. This obviously has some sort of a limitations, advantages, and disadvantages, but yes. The third is a legacy approach for automation. Trying to use various API softwares, APIs. And what is an API? Connecting with an external. For example, a tax software may have an API which can pull in the information from the entire GST website. And therefore your software or the way in which you work can be eliminated, or you need not do multiple entries. Today, frankly speaking, accounting can be automated. If you're a small SME practitioner, okay, and if you have a client who's fairly about, let's say, about 10 to 50 lakh turnover, if he has a bank statement, if he has an invoicing software, if he has a bank statement, if he has an invoicing software, and if he has a GST 2B, using these three, you can automate and pass all your entries. 60% of your or 80% of your accounting work is over. The only question then is, how do I recognize bills, match it with that, and sort of finalize? So you're saving so much amount of time. Why can't we think on these approaches? Now, there are a lot of disrupting factors which are actually coming into picture. Cloud-based accounting is coming in. Integration is coming into, integration with customer, integration with vendor. I can integrate with the bank itself. Okay, OCR, AI/ML technologies, voice interface, automation. So a bunch of these technologies are actually coming in today, and that's where we are heading into. Let me give you a simple example. Many of them keep on asking, sir, you say that there are available, there are so many tools available. Which tool can I use? Now, reasonably an SME practitioner uses significantly Tally, and one of this very simple tool and an affordable tool. Now it costs less than probably about 1,000 rupees per month. And the power of this tool is that from your Excel, whatever data you have, you can quickly push it into your tally. You will be surprised, on July 31st, there were some clients who have approached me of 1 or 2 days before, said, sir, of course, this is not during last year, much before that. They came and approached, sir, we want to finalize the books of accounts. Can you please file it because today is the last day and I forgotten to come back to you. I said, sir, you've come in the last moment, but I can take it up, but only if you are willing to pay double the fee. The client said yes, because he didn't want to pay a penalty. And what did I do? Simply use this tool. Within about a couple of hours, I was able to reasonably finish it. And we had some bit of general conversation, some bit of reconciliation, and we were done. So I'm trying to tell you, there are tools which are available as affordable as this. Why do I use, or I'm just giving one example, okay, just to understand the perspective. See, what happens is any of these tools give you a facility which can supplement a powerful tool such as Tally. We all know Tally is almost pervasive in our systems, in our offices, and most of the SME practitioners go in and around that. But there are a lot of these tools which can sit on top of Tally, which can do so much of work. Correct? And therefore, you are able to do it much, much more faster. The next very interesting thing, let me remind you, my dear friends, is cloud accounting. Today, accounting is literally can happen anywhere. Okay, you can notice the background image. Of course, it's a clear sky with some. It's a sky with somewhat of clouds, but the landscape over here is fairly clean. Anybody today can get started with this. It is as simple as that. There are tools available, and they are a very, very affordable cost. And what do these tools offer? They give you integration with online payment gateways. They give you payment reminders. You can just set a payment reminder within 3 days, 5 days, 15 days. Go ahead and send it. They can do follow-up. Your frustration levels can probably be reduced. They sometimes have self-service portal for customer. Customer says, I want all my bank invoices with you. Give a portal access and just go download it. They can interact with customers. You can provide your quotation, invoice, your PO. It can be linked sometimes to CRM. You can also get some instant reviews and feedbacks, purchase orders. Correct? You can automate recurring bills and expenses. I'm not sure how many of them are using an automated accounting, a recurring billing software. You can manage stock. You heard me right. You can manage stock. Auto scan the documents and the entire data entry can get through. It can fetch feeds directly from banks, and it can give you very important, insightful reports. So the world is progressing, and therefore we also have to make attempts to go beyond it. Now, one of the very fundamental questions which always people ask me, when we speak about technology, automation, so what is customization? What is automation? See, customization is where you bring what you want, which is unique only for your organization. It could be a custom field, a custom view. Custom field is just adding an additional feature because your line of business requires that. A customized view that, this is what I intend to view in my document. A custom status, a custom link, a custom web button, a custom web tab. So these are just a few examples what you can bring in customization. When you look on the other end for automation, you can bring in a lot of workflow rules. A classical example, if I've booked an invoice, see whether within 30 days that person pays me, otherwise send an auto reminder. Email alerts. I can send it to Mr. A, CC with so many people. I can give app-based notification also. That person has made a payment. Hey, here's an alert. I can update the fields, web hooks, custom functions, and a lot of these things are possible, my friends. So this is where the new age of accounting actually brings in. I have known of friends of mine who sit here in India and are doing accounting for global companies thanks to usage of these cloud-based tools. Here the entire accounting is done. There the CFO or the senior manager just reviews it and just says, hey, thank you, we're done. The next thing which can probably come into picture in our profession is the robotic process automation, using bots to automate our accounting. Now, RPA platforms were created with the sole purpose of making automation easy. without any sort of a programming knowledge. In a layman's language, RPA is nothing but using a macro, I repeat, using a macro on multiple applications. Give an example. Open an email, download the invoice, read through the invoice, take a few details of the invoice, punch that details into the SAP or Tally for that matter, save it, export the ledger of that particular customer or vendor, and send an email back to that person saying we have booked your invoice and this is what is the due date of payment. Now this entire thing without a human intervention, you can do it. Yes, you heard it right, without a human intervention. As long as any process is reasonably standardized or can be standardized, RPA can do wonders. But let me remind you, this is not a magic wand which can remove all your problems. So what are the solutions? There are multiple, integrated platform, process automation, you have your underlying surfaces, and you are actually able to deliver the solution. And that's typically how an RPA actually works. Correct? And Microsoft has come up with a Power Automate, which is yet another very exciting feature. It's not Power BI, Power Automate, yet another exciting feature where it is to some extent open source or it's available for free. People, you can go ahead and explore it. And you don't require too much of programming knowledge for this. The second thing which we do in our office is auditing automation. Okay, maybe I'll finish this domain, and then if required, Ramya, you can come forward and make your announcement. Yeah, auditing automation. Auditing is one area which we have been doing it very number of years. But the real question is, can I do certain basic things to advance things which can save a whole lot of time? This is where the world is heading into. Using cognitive intelligence driven audit. Where you have the fundamental, where you're having a data, a simple Excel based analysis you're doing. You use the Excel based to derive some prediction, some sort of a data visualization, you're able to do it. You are able to do some bit of a robotic process automation. We already spoke about it. And the next stage where we're heading is cognitive intelligence, natural language generation, processing, machine learning, which we are going to expect in the near future. But if we have to gear up for that, my dear friends, the data in the systems should be very standardized. And it takes a whole lot of time. And let's not forget the role what analytics plays in this entire thing. Okay, where starting from your risk assessment to your ongoing monitoring, you can use the whole lot of these analytics. So this is a very nice study which is given by Deloitte. You can find the indicators on top in where you can use it. For example, in risk assessment, you can use analytical techniques. You can use RPA. You can also use NLP. Whereas when it comes to field work, you can use all the 4 technologies, including natural language generation, where you're actually generating newer types of data. Thereby, the machine is able to learn out of it. Correct? And these are the few things which is possible. And I'll give you probably a use case today, depending upon time. I'll just quickly show you in an Excel spreadsheet how simple risk analysis can be made. And today using artificial intelligence, and all of you can do it. It's not that only I can do it. You just require some basic data, you can go ahead and do it. And this is where we're heading into AI in audit. So an era which we are currently, with no artificial intelligence, you can only do a descriptive and diagnostic analysis where you can say, hey, this is what has happened and this is the reason why it happened, full stop. Maybe some bit of automation and RPA and basic algorithms are possible. Then comes the era of cognitive automation or cognitive process automation. This is where intelligence comes into picture, where AI comes into play, where AI can analyze the data and can identify certain suspicious patterns. A simple example, Do you have GST, GST vendors who are giving a behavior, or who's giving in the past, they've always had a history of delayed filing? And if the answer is yes, okay, if the answer is yes, then perhaps you should be very careful, because you may not get the GST credit. Because today the GST credit, the rule is very simple. Unless it appears in your GST2, you cannot claim the GST credit. Correct? Let's go to the next one. Can I use predictive and prescriptive? Is there something which I would like to draw an inference? Is there some sort of a, y is equal to a plus bx sort of a model which I can develop? Can I use an algorithm to do it? And the last comes deep learning. Deep learning is, something like what works in a Tesla car. A Tesla car, what happens is that it sees the objects in and around it and realizes that this is where I can go, this is where I should not be going. Likewise, looking into the data which is there, which is scanned physical various forms, the system on its own is able to interpret. Well, in the domain of accounting and audit, deep learning is going to take a good amount of time. Machine learning, already initial prototypes are available, but AI is already got started. Okay, so remember, AI is a very, very large set, of which machine learning is a part. Of machine learning, deep learning is a part. So let me give you one simple use case so that you're able to get an idea of how this exactly the story works. Okay, so I'm going to be sharing my Excel screen. Just give me a minute. Let me know if you're able to see my Excel screen. Of course, I'm going to share my entire window so that it's easier for you. Okay. Now what I'm going to do here is, I have a data with me, a very simple data. Now I just copy this data. I have a standard set of data just to avoid, much of confusion. Now I'm just going to paste this data. A very simple exercise. I just pasted this data. Sorry. I'm just going to paste this data, and this is how the data looks. Now, given the fact that I have to analyze this, it becomes very difficult. So obviously I use the typical function of convert text to columns, affixed to it, and I just say, hey boss, convert this. Now this is done. Now the next comes this set of data, your typical bank statement. Now you realize that not everybody can be split based on a fixed width. Now sometimes you can use a space. Sometimes if there's a special character, it also creates some problem. So have you ever tried using what is called as a flash fill? And this is where your AI is being fully used. So I've typed the word 3 unit, and look at this. I just typed the word 5, and automatically everywhere it gives what is the pattern of the data. This is a classical example of use of AI, and I have it ready. And I go to the next field and I just type 24 March 2019. Okay, and here I type 15th August 2019. And once I'm done with this, I just do a Control E, and my entire data set is ready. And the last thing which I have to do is 0.384, 1.201, and just do a Control E. My dear friends, I've got my data ready. Now this column is no longer relevant. I just name this units, date, and month, and consumption. Now, the moment you get this, what is the next thing we do? Hang on. Let's follow the lazy approach. Excel has a default option called Analyze Data. Ask Excel to analyze data on its own. Let's see what it can give you. Okay, and it gives you very, very interesting statistics. Okay, you will not believe, but this is what is the truth. Okay, look at this. It shows that the consumption gives you a repeating pattern. Never in your fundamental basis of auditing you will be able to identify this. If I insert a pivot chart, what it is saying is, if I classify all the consumption based on date, this is the pattern at which my consumption is. Of course, this data may be skewed or whatever you can call it, but this is how it is. All that I will do is, hey, shall I probably, expand this and see where the trend is? So I know that September to December is always the off season. I know between Jan and Feb, I have a very good season. Between July and this, so as an auditor, you know which are the areas where you have to pick up more samples and what is the time in which you have to do it. Now, don't you think this gives you a new perspective for risk assessment? The answer is yes. Now let's go to the next suggestion, which is giving by the data. Here it is giving me what is the units of consumption. There's a very simple chart which you also can follow. And what it does is, look at this. So this is where it gives you a descriptive analysis, okay? A descriptive statistics. Now what does it do? It has converted this entire population into data sets of 0.048 to 0.48. I realize that more than 3,500, maybe around 3,700 odd people are actually falling under this bucket. Now, assuming you had to give a recommendation to the management in terms of fixing the plan, you can always say, hey, can you club these both plans, which is 0.84 and 1.28, to a better plan, and say, boss, that saves you a whole lot of time. Can I bring in something new? Can I bring in something different? And this is where, my dear friends, the power of technology is. And not only this, you can speak with the data. You can speak with the data. Give me top 3 units by total consumption. Here it is. I can in fact say top 3 units by total consumption, or I can say top 3 months. Provided it is able to recognize this, okay? It's of course, it is also evolving. So the top 3 months by total consumption, look at this. It's actually giving me July is the highest consumption, Jan is the next highest consumption, June is the next consumption. If you just go here, you can actually identify July is the highest, right? Jan is the next, and perhaps June is the next. So you can clearly identify this. Right? Assuming you have to go with the traditional approach of drawing a pivot, nobody's stopping you, but not just to take always the unit number. Sorry, just give me a minute. I don't know why. Yeah, this is supposed to be unit. Do not go by the traditional approach and just say, hey, I'll just take the sum total of this and finish the pivot. Sorry, refresh. Yeah, just don't take the unit, just don't take the consumption and say, hey, this is what is a beautiful analysis. Can I go beyond this? The count. Right click, value field settings. Just go ahead and take the count. As though this is not sufficient, you can also do right click, show values as a percentage of grand total. And here you have show value as a percentage of grand total. Of course, this is an evenly distributed because this is a data set which I made it. But yes, you can actually go ahead and do further analysis. So my dear friends, there is no end to it. I'm not sure how many of them have tried this sort of a pivot within Excel. A very simple exercise. What I do is here, I draw the consumption in the right hand side. I draw the consumption also on the left hand side. Right click and click on the option called group. Give me groups of 0 to 6, and each of them increasing by 1 class interval. Here it is. Entire population. Now this is what is called stratified population. Now can you just draw this population over here, and now you decide what is the sampling ratio you need to apply. So I need to say sample, okay, here let me choose 15 samples, here let me choose 4, let me choose 3, let me choose 3, whatever you decide. Double click it, here you have it. Within this, you want to use random sampling? Yes, that is possible. How do you choose random sampling? Just type the word random, okay, and just say is equal to RAND, rand, bracket open, bracket close. Your random numbers are generated. It is so random that every time I hit enter, it keeps changing. All that I need to do is pay special. I can pick up any random things from here. So what is the key thing which I'm going to tell you? I'm telling you, my dear friends, is that technology is very, very affordable and it is available. The question is, how are we using it? Now, there are tools like this which can also bring in much more. This is a very basic version of a CAD tool. I'm just giving one tool as an example, again, because these are tools which I've been using it. I know how it works and I know what are the challenges and how for an MSME client it actually solves the problem. Bringing in, doing Excel-based analytics. So whatever I did, stratified analysis, stratified random sampling, I did at least about 8 steps over here to get you the data. With this tool, you can do it in 1 or 2 steps. I'm just giving one example of a tool. Again, there are hundreds of tools which are available. Right? It's another tool which can pull the data from Excel, from Tally to Excel, and you can do multiple set of analysis. The third bucket is compliance automation. Okay, but when I speak about compliance, today, what is it that I'm actually focusing on? I want to create a single library of all the tasks which is applicable to what, etc. I want to assign each of these tasks to various stakeholders, and of course, I need to monitor and retrieve them. So what do these dashboards can do, or what do these solutions can do? They can create a workflow, step 1, step 2, step 3. It can give you dashboards, and very important, it can send you reminders and alerts. This is missing, this is a problem, this is the due date. And name any of these regulatory compliances, you can go ahead and configure. Of course, you have an option to go choose. You will have to give the deadlines. One-time configuration is painful, but yes, you can go ahead and do it. You can take care of all your renewals. You can take care of all your digital signature expiry, correct? Internal tasks, and a bunch of these things are possible. Let's also look into the non-audit automation. Can I provide services to clients using analytics? Can I provide MIS as a service? Can I give you an enterprise performance management solution as a service? Can I do due diligences? Can I do mergers and acquisitions? Correct? Can I do investigation and forensic related? Can I do special audit? And each of them, there are a bunch of hundreds of tools and technology which is available. We just need to open up our minds. I'll give you one example. There was a case where I had to identify the source of funds, the fund flow, establishing the trail, and all of them had to be done within Tally. And it becomes very difficult because I know one ledger to another ledger, other ledger. I have to keep on going through so many ledgers to understand where the money actually went. For all you know, it went out from one bank account but received in another bank account. So it became very difficult for me. And using these tools, in a click of a button, I was able to map it at least to a large extent. And that is where these technology can be very helpful. Let me give you one other very powerful analytics dashboard. And this is Power BI. Okay, this is a simple dashboard which you can see on the screen. And the beauty of this dashboard, my dear friends, is that it can speak with you. Meaning, of course, not literally, hey, dashboard. It is so very dynamic that you click on any information, it keeps on changing. The underlying data keeps on reflecting what you wanted. And you have various methods through which you can create filters. You can create a lot of these simple reports. You can create a lot of these simple dashboards. You can drill down. You can go view the data as table. You can see the bifurcation of sales, receivables, which agent is actually giving you the sales, which is the sales which is not actually taking place. You can go ahead and do a lot of these drill down abilities. And not just that, you also have options where you can reset and bring this back. And this can be even done on a mobile phone. You can give these dashboards even on a mobile phone, and that's possible, my dear friends, today. Correct? And this is using simple Microsoft Power BI. And the best part of this Power BI is the basic version is free. The basic version is free. Only if you're sharing it, the cloud version, etc. is chargeable. Correct? Next comes office management and office automation. I think this is something which has been spoken very vastly. Can I do GPS-based attendance tracking? Sometimes it is necessary. Not that we less trust our staff, but sometimes it may be necessary for various administrative convenience. Can I have a reimbursement approval system? The most of the time, the reimbursement comes by the time we have already sent the invoice to the client and we have forgotten to get the money from the client. So we are paying out of our pocket. Can I track the job? Can I track the leave? Leave management is a very painful job. What are the time tracking? Am I able to track the timesheet? Am I able to see what is the job I've assigned to each employee? Are there checklists based on which I can actually track what is the progress? Do I have a document manager? Can I automate the payment reminders? Can I automate upcoming bills and reminders to client? Multi-currency invoicing, assuming I have people from India, clients from abroad. Can clients be given access to a document management system where they themselves can download it? Digital signature management, client dependencies, meetings and appointments. Can the client book an appointment through my solution? Job cost analysis, auto creation of recurring tasks, alerts for overdue jobs. So there are hundreds of such facilities which are available. I'm just giving you an example. Tools are always available in plenty. So what exactly am I trying to tell you? My dear friends, disruption always creates opportunity. Disruption creates opportunity. A digital disruption, if you ask me, is a very, very strategic opportunity for all of us to adapt and grow. But we need to obviously understand what is the risk. The growth of automation, we will see some traditional revenues drying up. Simple example, compare yourself 5 years or 8 years back. The income tax practice, especially from salaried and those so-called non-tax audit clientele, were significant. Today, it is reduced to a large extent. We are dealing with Generation Z, Generation Y, sort of millennial sort of environment, where these folks want to do everything by themselves. They may get a notice, they may get this thing, those are all secondary, but they're really interested in doing everything on their own. Tomorrow, perhaps somebody will say, hey, a bot is doing my bookkeeping, I don't even have an accountant. So we need to see how newer business models we can do. Are we able to take newer risks? And let me also remind you, these technologies present opportunities for organization to reskill the workforce, to redo various things, and the time is now. Do not be worried that a lot of things are happening in and around us. Can I use this opportunity to make myself better? So what exactly is the future work for professionals? The clients are going to be beyond geography. Do not expect that, oh, I'm going to be confined within my own state. Start looking beyond. Start looking beyond. There are hundreds of portals, websites which are available where you can actually be a freelancer consultant and through which you can get a lot of incremental clients from abroad. Try to be a one-stop solution. Try to network, be a one place where all the problems are being addressed. See whether you can use technology to drive the solutions. You may not get loyal clients, but that's how it is. Don't expect the person to stick on to you for 5 years, 15 years, 25 years, like your existing clientele were. Services. The focus will slowly move to advisory from compliance. Remember, compliance can be done by anybody. The role of us as professionals is giving advisory strategy. Can we bundle the services? Can we go beyond the non-traditional services? Can we go beyond the traditional services? Offer a lot of non-traditional services, analytics as a service, dashboard as a service, MIS as a service. And the future of workplace is going to be physical plus digital. You may have a few employees who are going to be on the ground. A few of the employees are always going to be work from home, and that's how you're going to do. And the talent. You may have to have multidisciplinary people. You may need to have technology professionals within you. You need to have the risk-taking ability. You need to have that sort of a mindset. But do not expect them to stay too long with you. That's the order of the game. Correct? And you all have to gear up to manage youngsters and millennials. They come up with different thought process, different ideas. Sometimes you may fail, hey, what is this? But actually you apply your mind, they may have a logic. Let's hear from them. Let's learn from them. I make it a policy that I learn from my staff. I learn from my interns. I always ask them, how would you approach this? Of course, a fresher may not be able to address it immediately. It takes some time, but give them the perspective. And what is this future of technology going to give for all of us? We're going to have advanced work from home solutions, flexible working hours, a big boon for women employees. Automation of accounting and compliance is going to take place. Data will automatically move from the client's environment and the bank into the accounting system. So therefore, do not worry. This is the future. It's a question of 3 to 5 years. Remote audits are going to be there, and we will have to use that. In fact, use it to an advantage where you can approach international clients and where you can do their internal audit through remote. Accountants will have a real-time overview of the client affairs. Fee would be purely based on the value which you are giving them and not based on the time which you're going to spend. And they're going to be obviously increasing audit of IT systems, forensic engagements, technology-driven engagements. In a distant future, there are going to be proactive alerts to auditors. Analytics-powered newer services are going to come into picture. AI as a service provider is going to definitely come into shape. Bot keepers from bookkeepers, blockchain-powered solutions, and technology solutions may perhaps require domain expertise of a child accountant. So this is where the future would be heading into. So how do I gear up for the challenge? What is it that I need to do? What is my key message for you? First, identify the need. It could be as simple as writing a macro, or it could be simple as using a tool, or as advanced as a machine learning algorithm. First, identify the need. Explore, research. Information is just a click away today, my dear friends. There's a lot and plenty of information. Just go ahead and search. Before you do any sort of a commitment, go ahead and test it. Take a trial version. Go ahead and try it. See what the solution is. Can it solve your problem? Take a demonstration, etc., etc. Try to develop SOPs. See whether your entire staff can use that and understand technology. Measure the results. Measure the results and repeat this entire exercise. Correct? So that's typically how you need to get up for the challenge. And let me tell you, the world's biggest problems once upon a time are the world's biggest opportunities today. On that note, thank you so much for inviting me. It's a wonderful opportunity to share, interact. These are a few of the things. Many times people keep on asking me, what is the technology you can do? What is that audit you can do? This is just a small list of things which we do in our office, technology-enabled solutions. And there are hundreds of things which is actually possible today, my dear friends. On that note, thank you so much for being a patient hearing. I'll be happy to take Q&A if you have any. And let's be in touch and let's be connected. And together, all of us will try hard to overcome this challenge. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. So before we write on the session, I'll just like to take 5 minutes of your time. Yeah. So just like Narasimhan sir was telling that automation and technology will be the future for us, and given the pandemic also, it will definitely be a future, especially for chartered accountants. I think it's high time for us to adopt technology and move forward. So this is where Optotax will be very helpful for you, because Optotax is a knowledge sharing and a technology platform which is used by more than 50,000 tax professionals across their country for their 1 million clients. So here, all the tax professionals around the country, they gather, we share information and knowledge, and we also help in easing compliance for your office. So when it comes to knowledge sharing, we keep sending daily updates, and then we conduct a lot of webinars with best speakers around the country, because upgrading knowledge is what is the key to success in our profession. And with respect to easing compliance, we already have a GST tool, which has now become India's #1 GST platform with all your love and support. So coming to the digital part, coming to the technology part, I'd be happy to tell you, really glad to tell you that Optotax is the first platform where you can make GST payments through the software itself. So you needn't go back to the GST portal and wait for the server, and you needn't wait for it to slow your efficiency. So you can make payments directly from Optotax. So this feature is coming soon. And apart from that, also we have a lot of features that will help you a lot in financial automation that is coming forward now. So when it comes to financial automation, like it will help you in managing your clients in all in one platform. It helps you to automate receipt of professional fee from your clients, and also it helps in accounting automation. So from your banking transactions itself, you can directly create your accounts and receivables. So it will be so this will help you in making your CA practice very efficient. So basically we are trying to create a single platform where let it be compliance, let it be managing managing your clients, or receiving professional fees. So right now, yes, sir. So right now, like sir has mentioned in the comments, so GST tool is available right now, which the best part is that it is exclusively free for all tax professionals. So you can just start using it today. So if you have not yet started using, the link is actually, we have given you a link also on the, on the chat. So it is a small Google form. Just you can fill it up for a minute. It just takes a minute. And then you can actually, get the details of Optotax on your mail also. So you can start using it. So any queries, any feedback. So here I'd like to point out and mention that Optotax, we have made it from the feedback of the tax professionals. So we just didn't create a software and go to the market. We went to the market first. We asked all the chartered accountants, asked the tax professionals, what are the features that you need in a software, or what are the features that you need in a platform that will help you, ease your compliance. So based on that, we have made this platform where, there is GST compliance as well as knowledge sharing. So which will be very helpful for all the chartered accountants. So you can please, take 1 minute of your time. You can click on the link and you can receive the details of Optotax on your mail too. So thank you everyone for attending. So this session hopefully was very helpful to even have a insight of what our future will be and how reliant on technology that we are going to be. So thank you so much, Honor Swami sir, for being part of this, and also CA Narasimhan Elangovan for deliberating the wonderful session, sir. Thank you.
So, I hope all of you enjoyed it.
Yes.
I also loaded my PPT on the screen. You can, those of you who have the option, you have the file option there. You can go and download the PPT.
Yeah. So we will also mail you the PPT. Whoever has participated will also be mailed the PPT. And this session also will be uploaded on YouTube so that you can view it later also, and share it with all your colleagues. So yeah. So any doubts, please? I think sir, you can take up the doubts if there's anything.
I see a couple of questions. Let me just spend a couple of minutes there. Sorry, I will have to only take the ones which has come latest. I'm just scrolling down. Okay. Good learning. Okay, and then there's just been some general feedback. Is Tally a cloud accounting software? I don't think Tally is a cloud accounting software. I would probably call it as a standalone system. You can integrate it and keep it on a virtual system, but you still can't use it on a cloud. A cloud is typically a scenario where you work on a web browser. You don't require an app at all. For data analytics, which is a good tool, again, a tool, there are hundreds, my dear friends. It only depends on what is the purpose. Each tool has a perspective. Each tool has a problem which it intends to solve. Let us understand that, for example, you're talking about Power BI. It is a very good visualization tool. Now, if you're looking into idea by Caseware, because Samir has asked this question, it is more of a data analytics tool which applies on a standalone basis. Now, it will not work along with an Excel. So therefore, there is obviously that sort of a delta which is there. Cloud-based tools, I think there are hundreds of it. It's also available in the couple of books which I've authored. You can probably visit the ICA website. There's something called Digital Capability Maturity Model in that. That's one of the books which I've co-authored. You can go ahead and pick it up. There is one more virtual guide to virtual accounting firms, which is available in the committee for members and industry. This was just released a couple of months back. You can again find a lot of tools which I've made a mention of it. Slide, I think, has been already given. What more is there? Feedback form for certificate. Okay, sorry, Ashish, that I think the Optotax team will probably mention. Mention a website where there is freelancing work. Upwork.com is one example. There's a lot more which is available. Is CISA useful for CA in practice? Praveen is asking me this question. CISA is basically an information system audit course. So question is on how you want to position it. If your clientele are on that domain, you can go ahead and definitely take it. Are there any consultancy firms available for suggesting level of automation and helping implementing automation? Yes, Pankaj, there are a lot of options available. In fact, you yourself as a CA firm, once you get into this, you can start doing consulting engagements. implementing technology, all of these are possible. What are the additional courses one should do for young chartered accountants to sustain in the competition? Shubham, very good question. Let's upskill yourself with very basic things, starting from Excel, starting from Power BI. Can you use them? Can you use analytic tools, CAT tools? These are some things which is a very initial stage. And then over a point in time, you can always see how you can use them to solve problems in a particular domain which you operate. And then courses, there are plenty of them. In addition, you can always pick up some international courses and things like that. As a CA final student, what is it that you can prepare? What is the advisory role? Rubai Shinde, my first advice is get done with CA, because that's a big milestone. That itself is a big milestone. And then your perspective on things changes. So the only suggestion is, when you are doing anything and everything, think from a futuristic perspective. Will this be relevant? Okay, so that way I think you'll get it. And server solution for small office, how to set up? The multiple technologies available. Either you install one simple firewall plus one VPN in your office and you can get started. Sometimes even with without a firewall, you can use a remote based solution. Alternatively, you can have a complete cloud-based solution. That is also possible. The cost you may have to evaluate. How is CRM helpful for auditor offices? See, it helps you to track your clientele. What is the type of work? How much is the billing you have done? You have gone and met various people. Is that persons whom you have met, have you got them converted to your client? A lot of things like that. Conversion from inventory to non-inventory, I'm not too sure. Which software is there in BI and AI? Power BI itself is one very basic example. Then you have, I think, MindBridge solution is one data analytics and AI build based setup. What you have to learn to understand the future of profession. You need to be very attentive, understand the way in which profession has been running. It is all going to be tech driven in future, and therefore you need to be very open-minded to accept changes and move very quickly. I think that's the most important thing. Any other question? Work from home solution, hundreds are there. Azure virtual machine is definitely good. You can go ahead and try. Okay, but only thing you'll have to balance what is the technology importance, what is the complexity and ease of management. Okay, it should not be that only you have understood it. Everybody should be in a position to have understood it, right? So those things you'll have to take care of. Okay, so I think I've covered most of what I wanted to cover. Over to you, Ramya, if you have any other concluding thoughts. Otherwise, I think we are done.
Yeah, we can wrap up, sir. I think it has been a great session. I think a lot of amazing feedback has come. And yeah, most of all, stay home, stay safe, everyone. Keep yourself and your family and your friends safe. And please stay home. Please don't go out unnecessarily, because and also we have to maintain the positivity with us. So I hope this webinar would have actually distracted you from the negativity as well. It would have helped you in your profession too. So thank you so much, Narasimhan sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.